Philadelphia Eagles fire head coach Doug Pederson after 5 seasons and a Super Bowl win versus the New England Patriots. Um, I'm gonna be real. This didn't come as a surprise to me. I kind of seen this. I kind of seen this coming from a mile away, and so did a lot of other people. Eagles Nation. Um, After that Super Bowl, yeah, that team was really good, and I'm gonna be honest, one of the more underrated Super Bowl teams of all time. But after that, they just couldn't return to that. They couldn't return to that state. They had a lot of players. They still had most of the team there, but I can't necessarily blame Doug Peterson for that because a lot of it was due to players being plagued with injuries like Carson Wentz and Zach Ertz, just to name a couple. After that, they had a couple consecutive 9-7 seasons. They barely beat the Bears in 18, and then got eliminated by the Saints. And the year after that, they got eliminated by the Seahawks in the wild card. And 2020 was just the less said the better. 4-11 and just struggled to find balance, and they just failed to find an identity overall. The team was just not good. And this was reported by Tom Perissolo and written by Nick Schuck. Before I get to you, Mario, I just want to start this off real quick, and I want to tell you why this is probably the best thing the Philadelphia Eagles can do. All right, I'm not saying it's all Doug Peterson's fault. I get all that. All right, it's not. You're absolutely correct. But we said it on the show many times, and we're not. And when you win a Super Bowl, a lot of more times than not, when you win a Super Bowl and you have the same team the year after, you're expected to do what you did the year before. And he didn't live up to that expectation. He went from 13-3 to 9-7. That doesn't happen a lot unless if you're the 49ers and you have a Super Bowl hangover after that. But we're not talking about that. With that said, and again, like I said before, it's not all Doug Peterson's fault because some players get injured, and that's not his fault. But what is his fault is he still had things at his disposal. He still had players at his disposal, and he couldn't get it going. He couldn't get it going. He couldn't get the team up from bad to good, and because of that, they had to let him go. And he couldn't live up to that expectation of being a Super Bowl coach after that. So I think, me personally, a lot of people are going to say this is a bad decision by the Eagles. I personally think this is the best thing they could do. Just tear it up and start over again. It's really the best you can do at this point.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. The Eagles are looking for better than what they've had the past 4 years after that Super Bowl, and yeah, I look at it, Nate, and I'm really thinking about it. He had consecutive 9-7 seasons, which isn't bad. He made it to the playoffs twice, but again, didn't get those wins after the Super Bowl. After that Super Bowl, it really started sliding down. And I don't know what it was because they had the same team.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They had the same team to do incredible things, and they just couldn't. They couldn't build an identity for a quarterback. What they were kind of debating between like Carson Wentz and Nick Foles, and Nick Foles was used basically as like a relief pitcher for when it mattered. Now Jalen Hurts is into the picture, and again, they just can't create this identity. I think I'll say this though. I think Doug Peterson was starting to create an identity before he left. I really did. Like with Jalen Hurts coming in, and you start seeing these rookies coming in, like Travis Fulgham. He starts creating an identity. Here's the thing: I blame half of it on Doug Peterson, and there's another half to blame for it too. So first half is on Doug Peterson because as you have a decent team, you have Brandon Graham, you have Fletcher Cox, you had Malcolm Jenkins for like 3 years. You had Carson Wentz was supposed to be promising, but injuries cost him. Boston Scott was a decent player. You had and you had some decent players in that team. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't a bad team. You had some decent players. That's the first half, and he just didn't coach them right. Second half was Howie Roseman. Let me tell you something.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
I'm gonna point to 2 drafts. Okay. Last year you got JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Could be a promising player. He had some moments. Could be a promising player. Okay. You could have took DK. You didn't do it. You picked JJ Arcega-Whiteside over DK Metcalf. Fast forward to next year. You picked Jalen Reagor. Again, could be a promising player. Had some moments. You could have picked Justin Jefferson.
Could have picked him. Could have picked CeeDee Lamb. Could have picked anybody really.
Now just those 2 picks, Nate. Just those 2 picks. We're not talking about every other pick that they've botched. Just those 2 picks alone. If they made the right choice, you could have DK Metcalf and Justin Jefferson on the same team.
That would have been a pretty scary team. I'm not gonna lie to
Do you
you.
know how deadly that sounds? It's like pick your poison. But they didn't. They've botched drafts. Howie Roseman's botched signings, and I think he's gonna be the next one going.
I'm gonna celebrate.
To be honest with you, with that being said, I hope Doug Pederson finds another job, and I wish him the best of luck in his
Absolutely.
future. I don't think he was. I don't think he was that bad of a head coach. Do I think he was really good? No, I think he was probably average after that Super Bowl. And like you said, you have an expectation after going 13-3. I agree. Now we're not asking you to go 13-3 every season. You know how hard that is to do.
That's pretty difficult to do.
But what we are asking you is to keep this team in the status of playoff contention and to keep them in a Super Bowl contention too, if you can. And Doug Pederson wasn't doing that.
Right.
I think what really cost his team was when they got rid of Frank Reich. They got rid of their offensive coordinator Frank Reich, who helped them win that Super Bowl. He ends up going to the Indianapolis Colts,
Mm-hmm.
and now look at them; they're a playoff contender.
They're a playoff contender.
I think the biggest focus for them, right? Getting rid of Doug Pederson, was that a good idea? I agree with it. Absolutely, you got to move on from it. But I do believe that you guys need to go find a new offensive coordinator because this ain't cutting it. And so I believe a mixture, like I'll change my answer. I'll put a third of it on Doug Pederson. I'll put another third of it on Howie Roseman, and I'll put the last third of it on the Eagles offensive coordinator. I think those are the pieces that you need to fit, that you need to like take away and build again.
Right, absolutely.
And so with that being said, I wish Doug Pederson all the best of the luck in his future football and NFL coaching career. And we'll see what the Eagles do from here on out.